What is your secret that you can't tell anyone because it will probably ruin your life? In high school, I stole the MP3 player of a classmate. Went into the locker room during PE and snatched it. I didn't steal it because I wanted it or to sell it, I just did it because she was an awful judgmental queen bee, and I wanted to get back at her. People saw me with it in hands, so the next day I was called into the principal's office. Steadfastly and self-assuredly denied everything. They looked at my bag, then called my parents who searched my entire room for the stolen MP3 player. They never found it, so I was let go. Still got into a fistfight with the girl later though, as she knew it was me. To this day I've never admitted it to anyone, ever. I was that petty. I still don't feel regret, even though I'm usually empathetic to a fault. She was that awful to others. I recognize it was wrong though, definitely. In any case, the MP3 player was buried in my garden as soon as I got home, and this garden is currently a mega store parking lot. It's the silliest thing, don't know why I've never admitted to it. I don't give my best at work because I don't care anymore. I used to give them 100% and nobody noticed and only focused on the small mistakes I made. Now I give 40 to 50% and my manager keeps bugging me why my performance has dropped compared to before. I simply don't care. The salary is fine compared to the country's standard, but in this field of work is on the lower end of the chart. I don't care, I'm overworked and underpaid, by industry standard not countrywide standard. I find it incredibly difficult to care about absolutely anything. Gotta fake it just enough so that people will interact with me. I found out I had a half-brother, from Dad, and the only reason I found out about it was because he had leukemia, and they thought I'd be a match for a blood marrow transfusion. After fleeing domestic violence and trying to make a new life, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I'm fighting it, but I'm just so tired of life. My last baby turns 18 this week and I feel like I've done all I'm supposed to. I'm sick of being strong for everyone else when all I want to do is go. I'm just so damn tired. Edit, wow, woke up this morning to this blowing up. I can thank everyone enough for the kind comments, messages and overall support. I have somewhat a better outlook on things, at least for today anyway, suppose just one day at a time. I wish I could bless you all with awards and thanks, but for now upvotes will have to do. Thanks again, you don't know how much your kind words and thoughts mean to me. I have automated the main part of my job and get paid to essentially just show up. I left my job at an electronics manufacturing company in 2002, but they continued paying me my full salary, including all incremental raises and annual bonus until they offered me a very generous redundancy package in 2022 due to departmental restructuring, including an £85,000 lump sum contribution to my pension fund. I even got the quarterly magazine and annual Christmas card sent to me. In March of this year, 2023, I got an invite to the 75th anniversary of the company, went along, had a great time at the free bar, and nobody realized I hadn't worked there for over 20 years. You've got to love a good administrative error. I have a bad back and from time to time it goes into a full spasm. One day I was getting out of bed, and as my foot hit the floor I went into a full spasm. I have no idea how, but a perfectly formed turd fell out the leg of my shorts and landed on the floor. Due to my spasm, I fell and landed right in the poop. The commotion woke up my GF at the time, and she ran over to check on me. I blamed the dog. I've never actually told anyone this before. That I don't really have imposter syndrome, I'm actually a fraud. The story everyone knows is my boyfriend and I voluntarily left our place of work because our relationship went against policy, and we valued our relationship more than our crappy jobs. The truth is we got caught fudging in my car before work, and left in order to avoid repercussions. I've gained over 100 pounds since the start of the pandemic and fallen into the deepest depression I've ever experienced. If you were to see me in person, you wouldn't think I was depressed, I'm very good at masking it. But if you were to come to my home, you'd know. I haven't had anyone in my home in almost 2 years. Right now I have bags of garbage that stink that I need to take out. I need to vacuum and mop my floors. My bed is broken on one side so I sleep at a slant. My couch is covered in boxes, bags, and just nonsense. I haven't folded my laundry in ages. My shower door is broken. I'm really struggling and I don't have anyone. Both my parents live in different parts of the country. I'm an only child. I don't know what I'm going to do. I hid the extent of my alcoholism from everyone since I was 15, I'm now 35 and 8 weeks sober. No one knows I'm sober now as they've never known I had an alcohol issue. All my passwords are the same word with different combinations of numbers and punctuation marks. I think I'm not as nice as people believe I am. I am just acting according to social norms when in reality everything outside my home makes me feel tired and drained. I'm 40 and my parents have no idea that I never actually graduated college. I went for almost 6 years and never felt like I really knew what I was doing. School wasn't necessarily hard for me, but I just couldn't bring myself to focus or be dedicated to it. My parents were super obsessed with the idea that everyone needs a degree to get any decent job, so there was a ton of pressure and dropping out wasn't an option. So, I graduated in a winter semester and decided not to walk the stage since the December ceremony was always pretty small and I knew they wouldn't think that was weird. This happened to be during the recession in the 2000s, so I had an excuse for not finding a conventionally professional job right after that. Now, I actually have a really good job with a company that focuses on hiring people based on experience, skill, and personality, so it turns out I didn't even need that degree. But I will never tell my parents the truth. Edit, dang, I did not expect this to get so many responses from others in a similar situation. Thanks for sharing your stories. I'm glad to hear that others were able to find their own way despite familial pressure. To those saying, now it's on the internet and no longer a secret, this is an old throwaway account and I specifically switched over to post this comment. Also, I am aware that people have murdered over this type of lie, yikes, but I very much love my parents and am also not a raging psychopath, so worries on that front. About 11 years ago I contacted my estranged father. We had become estranged due to the fact he treated my older sister badly when we were children. We sent some emails back and forth and I lied that I was doing a college degree and needed help with tuition and costs. He must have sent me about £50,000 in 3 years. He found out it was a lie as he emailed the uni I said I went to, asking for a receipt for tax purposes, and I blocked him and never spoke to him again. That £50,000 was spread between me, my siblings and my mom when we were in financial difficulties, and I played it off as winning big in an online casino. I don't feel an ounce of guilt, but I'm not sure if my family would understand what I did. The man didn't pay any child support when he and my mother divorced about 12 years before this. So, I feel justified in scamming him. My wife knows and she's agreed to keep my secret. 5 years before my stepdad died of Alzheimer's and leukemia, I noticed he was very quiet in the evenings when I visited him and my mom. I asked him, "Why don't you want to talk a bit more?" To which he responded, "If I don't say anything I can't say anything wrong." I took it to mean that he was afraid of conflicts with my mom, and said that I would want to hear anything he had to say. After he died I realized why he said what he said. I was at a lunch with them when he tried to ask me something but put in completely wrong nouns, nonsense choices, and every time he did that my mom started laughing and said, "Ha ha ha, now you've totally gotten things weird." She didn't know she was being condescending because she didn't know he was getting advanced dementia, none of us knew then, and she just brushed his mistakes off as being silly mistakes. She couldn't know it shamed him so much that he stopped talking, since he didn't trust his words anymore, nor his sense of balance. I will never ever explain this to my mom, not even if I am super angry. I would do unretractable damage to my relationship with her. She mourned him deeply. Edit, to the heartless people insulting my mother over this post, she stood with my stepdad to the very end, sat with him in his room in the nursing home when he sometimes would scream for a half hour in mortal dread as he realized the consequences of his worsening condition. Those days would completely crush her. She suffered more than anyone I know have done, and also saw her own dad die of cancer in her youth, so you know nothing of her sacrifice. We buried him 2 weeks ago. I'm doing all I can to spend time with my mom at the cabin and cook great meals for her, do chores in the garden. My brother and his wife helps too. One of my closest family members offered me segs during one of the most mentally unstable times of his life. I wasn't interested, nothing else happened, and the topic never came up again. One of the main reasons why I haven't brought it up in family is because his marriage is already unstable and I don't intend to make it worse. I have no idea what I'm doing at work. I fall asleep every night in horror because my former best friend and I haven't talked in 3 years because for her 21st birthday we both got massively blackout drunk and smoked. I have no idea what happened that night. But she's never answered a message I've sent since. While I am genuinely happy to meet you, I have no intention of remembering your name until we interact at least 3 or 4 more times. I was once at a party for my nephew's birthday and really had to go. I noticed they had a basement bathroom, so while cake was being served, I dropped a deuce that could peel paint. I was able to sneak in/out without anyone noticing. Fast forward to after the party and my SIL and BIL were complaining about 2 other family members clogging the upstairs bathroom and stinking up the basement. They complained that the smell lasted for days after that and it had to be professionally cleaned. To this day, they blame the other couple to the point that they get angry discussing the topic. TLDR, I'm a mystery pooper. I stopped working at work 1 year back. I have no idea what they want from me because I watch 12 hours of shows on my laptop and work for 30 minutes a day by attending a team huddle and staying on mute. I play most video games on easy mode. Then brag about how I'm so good to my wife who doesn't know about games. I won the lotto. Haven't told anyone or changed my lifestyle. I'm still going to finish my degree in data science, so I can say my money is from a new job. Edit, thank you for the kind words. To answer some questions. Winnings just surpassed the 8-figure mark. $10 on quick picks. Why would a DS play the lotto? Well, I'm not one yet, but just for fun every once in a while. Yes, I know the odds. But that 0.000000024% chance could be you, haha.